Good afternoon. It's a little bit of a different room than this morning. I'm sure you all know that I was up here earlier this morning off camera with some of your kids. It was a pleasure to be able to share a little bit of the White House experience with them, and I hope they enjoyed it. I think some of you have trained them very well. I hope they enjoyed their visit, and I'm glad they got an opportunity to visit with the President and the Vice President today. We have a bunch to talk about today about what the President's been doing, and he's got an executive order coming up, so we're going to try to get through it all. This morning, the President welcomed the President and Mrs. Macri of Argentina for an official visit. As you know, the President and the First Lady of Argentina just left, so we will have a readout for you very shortly on that. We've got at 2 p.m. the President will be signing a memorandum on aluminum imports and threats to national security, so we'll try to keep this briefing on time. I know Secretary Ross spoke about the memo that the President's signing a bit yesterday, but I want to reiterate that the American aluminum industry is in trouble, having declined down to the lowest levels of aluminum that we've produced since 1952. It is critical for our national defenses, the Army ground vehicles and the Air Force jets, the Navy warships, but American companies are producing less aluminum than before, especially in the high purity aluminum that's used to build things like the F-35, the F-18, and the C-17s. The Secretary of Commerce has initiated an investigation to determine what effect our reliance on imported aluminum has on both national and economic security. The memo the President will sign today, similar to the memo he signed on steel, elevates this investigation and directs the Secretary to prioritize its completion. This memo, combined with similar action on steel, is an important step towards fulfilling the President's promise to, quote, put American steel and aluminum back into the backbone of our country. The President has been speaking about revitalizing the American manufacturing industry for quite a long time. Another one of the President's most significant pledges has been to ensure that the men and women who have served this nation in our military have the care, treatment, and support they so greatly deserve. So later this afternoon, the President will go to the Department of Veterans Affairs, where he will sign an executive order that will take serious action to fix the broken VA system through the establishment of the new VA Office of Accountability and Whistleblower Protection, which will remove and discipline federal employees and managers who have violated the public's trust while protecting employees that speak out about wrongdoing. The President will be joined at the VA by several veterans and their spouses who have experienced or witnessed firsthand the poor quality of treatment that unfortunately too many of these heroes have received at VA facilities, including Sergeant Michael Vierto, who lost his leg and arm when he stepped on an IED in Afghanistan in 2010, and his devoted wife and caregiver, Sarah. The President is making it clear that the delays and improper care experienced by these veterans is unacceptable. The President's action today comes on top of his signing the Veterans Choice Improvement Act last week, which gives more veterans the option of seeing the doctor of their choice without traveling long distance or waiting for VA care. These actions, which are only the beginning of his plans to modernize the VA, the President is making it clear that the Trump administration will not accept anything but the best for those who have served our nation. Today, as with every day this week, as we approach the 100th day in office for this President, he is continuing to follow through on some of the biggest promises that he made to the American people. On Monday, he hosted a working lunch with members of the United Nations Security Council, reiterating his dedication to making America a leader in the world. On Tuesday, he prioritized the protection of the farmers and ranchers of America's heartland by establishing the Interagency Task Force on Agriculture and Rural Prosperity. Today, he took several important steps to review massive federal land grab by the previous administration under the Antiquities Act and egregious federal overreach. That was yesterday, actually. And today, as I mentioned, he's taking action on trade and veterans. As we speak of trade, I know last night you saw a readout of the President's call with President Peña Nieto and Prime Minister Trudeau. As the President just said, the President and the Prime Minister called him and asked him to renegotiate NAFTA rather than terminate it. The President has a great deal of respect for these two countries and their leaders, and he said that he would hold on the termination while we negotiate a better and fairer deal for America and its workers. But the President also made it clear that if the parties are unable to agree on a deal that is fair for American workers and companies after renegotiation, giving renegotiation a good shot, he will move forward with termination. And with that, take some questions. Yeah.